Hello, this is the branch vlog for 0.2.3.1, the pager and radio branch. I'm going to work through the bugs and then work through the actual extra stuff. So, first things first, there are a couple of bugs off the back of the computer interaction branch, which is one directly below, that I caught in the showcase of it when recording. So let me just explain what I had to do. Go to prologue, go to bedroom. So, first one, remove login widget's computer widget creation function. Yes. So, I have a master computer blueprint which controls like the login process as well as logging off with a computer, logging off and like a collision and all that sort of stuff. Like the real world, the game world colliding with the computer. This is the main blueprint that works on it. And off this main blueprint there are two widgets, and what was happening was login success. This one was creating the computer widget, but also inside the computer login widget, it's not here anymore. It was also doing a similar thing because it was also doing this because I copied and pasted it at one point thinking, oh, okay, well maybe I should get the blueprint to create the login and then the login and create the computer, and then when the computer's shut down it goes back to the login. So I was kind of like passing inheritance, like passing, I don't know, it's not inheritance, is it? Passing like focus to the login widget rather than keeping the focus in the master computer blueprint and then going to login widget, then coming back, and then going to the computer widget, then coming back. So it's just a mismatch. So it's creating two, which made me think, why on earth is it not able to remove from parent? Because we have the reference of it. So then I did this all widgets, get all widgets of class, because it was creating more than two, but for some reason I could only reference one. So I was just doing get them all and then remove them. So this will be redundant now, but I will rework it when the time comes to it. I can just use that reference and then just do like remove parent next. But that fixed that one. CLI, similar sort of situation. When you're in the computer widget, you have the ability to click here and then type in quit. It was only quitting the first one. Same issue. It was only quitting the first one rather than quitting all of them. So fix that, fix the top one, fix that one as well. Computer name not passing through, that was because on login, no, on computer widget, so you've come into contact with it, you've walked up to this, it's unlocked, it's loaded up this, that loads up the login widget, then the login widget loads up the computer widget if successful. Well, the login widget goes back, triggers it, and then allows you, it says you've got the correct username and password, then allows this blueprint to open up the computer widget. But for all intents and purposes, you put the right uh, username and password, it logs you in. The problem was I had an is valid, but the is valid was here at this section rather than this section. The computer name comes from the computer, not the data asset. So it doesn't matter if the data asset is valid or not, if if there's one present or not. The computer name is still always going to be there because it's coming from the computer. You see, computer and then computer name. It's not going computer data asset computer name. So it's just in the wrong place. User error. So next, frequency needs to only be the last of the input. Yeah, there's a bit of a mismatch here. When I was working with the radio, it was doing it where I've updated it since, but I used to have I've got a search function here, and it's this function. This function used to be as a custom event, and it was just like search custom event, and then that functionality I just showed you, and then this call would run that search custom event. Put it into a function now simply because I can't remember why I put it into event. I think it was just to get it all in the event graph, map it all in like one big blueprint, make sure it's functional, then start refactoring into functions once we're happy with the functionality. So it was matching the frequency and it was going true, and then on true break, and then because it's matched frequency and it's true, then output the information. So, like radio, you put in the right radio frequency, you press call. If someone's there, then they're gonna get it at their side, aren't they? But also like a pager, you put in the right number, you send a message. If they're there, if that number is present, that information is gonna go there. I realized my mistake. It was going true, break, and then it was doing it. But then once it was true, it was always true. There was no way to make it like not be true, because then it would run again and it would be like it would break on true. Essentially, once it matched the frequency, it would break and it would output it. But then you could put in another frequency and it would still output it. It was like once it was true, it's permanently true. So I put it into a function and then I put local variables around it, which I remember this is how I did it. I've done it for every other time, so I just missed a step. I need to on true, local variable match true, break it, complete it. On complete is the match true, then use that information. So like get the text message, for example, and output it. If it's not true, then three dots. And if it never gets true, then it becomes no match, you see. So it just runs to the end of the loop, then it completes and then matches false in this case. If it was always false, 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 you see. So I got local variable just to make sure the output only comes out when it's appropriate, when there is a true match. When there's a false match, when it's false, it doesn't come through. Yeah, so that was that bug. I will showcase it at the end, and I will explain the code for the radio stuff at the end. Well, when appropriate, when I get to the points. So, add background image for law items. Yeah, really old, 48. So we're talking January, February 2024 when I started doing these issues, so it relates to that. Computer, well, it's there. Books here, and this is like a static storage thing, but I do have these individual books as individual items, so that's done. Radio is done. If I go to this, you see, as of last 10 minutes ago, I've made the radio slash pager thing, sprite and texture, and then I've just done the normal map for the backpack now as well. So that's that done. Create backpack item. It was the functionality was already there. I just needed to create the sprites. See, when I collect it, you'll see I can go like right click, equip, right click, equip, press N. There you go. So you see it's there now. Create radio widget. Okay, so let me explain the radio widget. Originally, it was going to be a radio widget and a pager widget, but then when I was developing it, I was like, hey, it's already like a radio and it's already like a pager, so let's just combine it as one. I think I've just created a mobile phone, but yeah, um, yeah, I guess I have to some degree, but radio widget. Okay, so you collect it, great. You equipped it, great. Once it's equipped, there is a piece of equipment, blueprint, item, interact, collect, equipment, radio, pager. So the item that you collect, when you collect it, when you collect that sprite, you collect this. And what this holds on the right is the radio test call, the pager test call, and the equipment radio pager. So you equipped that. Then when you press E, currently it's just E for testing. It won't be E to load up your radio pager normally. It will pop up this. This is already created in the main widget at start, runtime, but it is hidden. When you press E, it is unhidden. It's visible is the correct word they use. Then it pops this up. This has a couple of things, so you can toggle between pager mode and radio mode. The key difference being when it's pager mode, it converts the float frequency to a integer frequency, because you're not calling someone with a full stop and then an extra number, are you, in a pager? Or well, in a pager it's just a number, like calling on the phone. Meanwhile, a radio has floating point numbers, doesn't it? It has a decimal point there. At least nearly all of them do. Like radios like 96.9, 106.9, 98.9, things like that. I've never seen it just be 98. It'd be 98.0. So yeah, that button allows you to toggle it between float and int output here. Then I created a enum type, which is in blueprints. It is called law type, and it's got all these different types. So right now, so it toggles it to pager and activates pager, toggles it to radio and activates radio. Okay. Let me skip over this. For now, on construct, zero out the frequency, three dots in the text there, zeroes out that frequency, so 0 megahertz, and update the frequency, so it just updates it. If it's radio, then activate radio, so it does the radio style number value at the top, so number megahertz, number dot number megahertz. Meanwhile, if it's pager, then it's just number. Updates the frequency, that's that. I then have a widget within a widget, which I do have a playlist about the Numpad that I'm up to part 3. I've just released part 3. There's 4 and 5 to do, but I'll do those between the branches. The Numpad widget is here, and this is like a universal multi-purpose widget. And what we have here is you type in these numbers and it updates it to the input code, and then the input code, after it's been updated, does the send to input parent, so it goes function to a function in the Numpad. Then it gets the true outer parent, so as high up as it can go in the hierarchy. So radio widget in this case, but it could be computer widget, could be any other widget. Now this is how you see I made it universal. If they have the same Numpad interface, then get that input code we just typed in the Numpad and ping it out through that function. This function is then caught in the radio as an event. So the function from the Numpad pumps out the information. The event in the radio grabs that information that's being pumped out, looks at that input code. Does it match the current frequency? Yes. Okay, well, doesn't matter. It's fine. No. Okay, well, update the current frequency. It will never match. It will never match. You type in 1 in the Numpad, it's zeroed out to begin with, so 0 versus 1 don't match. You type in another one, well, 11 versus 1 doesn't match. It will never match, you see. So where it matches, don't do anything. Where it doesn't match, update the frequency of the radio with the Numpad's input. Then we update the frequency, whether it's radio or whether it's pager. So true, false on radio for the current type. We then do the 3 dots, and yeah, that's that. Then we go to the search, and then search does, oh, okay, so I know it's called radio, it should be called radio pager now. 1 second. It's an awful name, but I need to do it. Radio pager. So radio pager, is it valid? So essentially, have you picked it up? Have you picked it up? Have you equipped it in that equipment slot that we just saw? If you have, then that's going to be a yes. Then the data assets within the equipment. So this is a universal one for if I just show you it very quickly, but I'll try not to confuse you too much. We have master equipment, data asset for equipment. It's a universal data asset for all equipment, you see. So then look at the data assets that we've added. Remember there was radio test and then there was pager test. So we've got two. So it's looking at them. Do the frequencies currently match? Yeah, okay. Is it the same law type? So have you set it to radio and it's a radio law type? Yeah. Okay, cool. Match. Break it. Complete it. It matches. Yeah. So get the information from that data asset where it matches and feed that into the radio pager. Otherwise, 3 dots. Let's say frequency matches, but you've got it in radio mode, but the frequency is in pager mode and it's a number. Then though it will match true there, it will match false there. So then it will hit it doesn't match on the local variable. That is only in this scope of this function. And it will go repeat, 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 repeat till either it matches or it runs out of things to loop through. Then it will finally complete and then it'll be true or false. That's that. That's how that works. That is the radio and that is also the pager. I will showcase it very quickly. Create Numpad widget modular. That just relates to what I've discussed here. So sends the input. Nothing special at all. Needs a bit of like TLC on different buttons for like hovered and pressed and things, but it functionally works. I could dump it into another widget and I could plug in the Numpad interface and do the same thing. I could take advantage. Combine the radio and pager functionality. Yes, I've done that. So let me show you what it does. Collect. I press right click. You see it's there. Radio. I press E. We've got 45.35. It is in radio mode. Call. Emergency. Like, is your fridge running? I press 6. It's not the right frequency anymore, is it? I cancel it. It's nothing. I go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Call nothing. I got to pager. Call nothing. It's pager mode now. You noticed how it changes it between megahertz and like a normal pager. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. Call. That is a pager number. That is pager test. That is 52, which is hurry up. And then I can go to radio and it'll keep it. So you know if you half type it. So let's say you do something like 45. Oh crap, no. Oh no. It's radio, but it's in pager mode at the moment. Radio 0.35 call. There you go. Cancel. Wipes it. These buttons don't do anything at the moment. And that's that. That is this branch, the pager and radio interaction widget, done and dusted. Next, which I'm working on right now, is the map, photo, and document interaction. I have a very basic, very basic map, which does work if you dump an image in there. And I've got notes works, but it's very basic. Might we'll see. Document again works like that, but doesn't have the left right thing. And what did I say? What was it? Map, photo, document. Yeah, we've already kind of got book. Book also will piggyback off the back of documents with its left and right functionality. You can see that really what I've got left is make that a true make map a true version 1, make book a true version 1, make note a true version 1, and make photo a true version 1. Documents will be held within the computer widget. Meanwhile, book and notes will be just books, and notes will be uh, like post-its. I will also incorporate documents to be files, as in, just like files and folders outside of a computer, so that will be slightly multi-purpose. I'll have to have a thing to say, is it a computer document? Is it a non-computer document, for example? But yeah, that's Radio Pager done and dusted to go alongside the computer and computer login widget. Doing that, and then next, I haven't updated any extra new branches in the planned, but this one will probably take under a week, and then I'm going to blast out all the Act 1 items. So Act 1 levels, like levels that are solely in Act 1 onwards, which I've just created, will get some love, will get some like items added into them. They won't just be like hollowed out 3D spaces, 2.5D 3D spaces. After that, and sometime in April, I will do a year 2 set of videos. I did a year 1 set of videos. They weren't very refined. It was quite on the cuff. I'll go through the same approach, but I'll be more refined just because I understand it more. I understand my vision even more now. So yeah, expect a fair few videos to come out between this week and middle April. Thank you, and I'll see you in a bit.